Okay, so this is not a video on how to make $100 billion in 24 hours, but I really just wanted to bring attention to something I'm seeing a lot of in the SMMA space. I use these little walking videos as a way of reflecting on the last 8 years of running my SMMA. And for those who don't know who I am, my name is Uncle Jimmy, and I've been doing this a long time, and I help people with their service delivery woes and scaling woes of an SMA, etc., etc. Okay, so something I've been seeing a lot lately is videos that are like, how I made 100K in 2 months, or how I made 100K a month in 2 months, how I made 100K a month in 3 months, how I made 50K a month in a month, how I made 10K a month in 8 days. I'm seeing a lot of these videos with time frames. And obviously I know the reason why people do it is because people like yourself click them. And there's nothing wrong with that. You clicked this video out of curiosity. But it really is starting to irk me, and it kind of makes me chuckle a little bit that so many people are making videos like this. And where it all stems from is I do coaching calls, I do group coaching calls, I do one-on-one coaching calls, and I've seen it lately, a lot of people feeling like they're behind in the SMMA space. I had one guy in particular I was on a coaching call with last week, and he was like, Jimmy, I really feel like I'm not achieving as much as I should be. And the first question I asked him is like, why? What makes you feel like that? Because a lot of times there's symptoms to a core problem, and that is one of those. And he said to me, oh, I watched this other guy and he's in my space and he's made 100K in 2 months, and I want to do the same. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I mean, we all want to make as much money as we can as quickly as possible. But I said to him, I'm like, there's no award. You know, like for context, my agency is doing 127K a month. And in the SMMA space, I work with trade services, so like contractors. And I said to him, I said, when I hit 100K a month, no one gave me an award, no one put a medal on my chest, no one like patted me on the back for getting there. It doesn't change anything. Like how quickly you get to a number doesn't make a difference. And I tell people this from a perspective. I have an interesting perspective on this because I've been doing this a long time, right? This is my career and I've been doing it for 8 years now. And I tell people, like, doesn't matter if you get to 100K a month as quickly as you possibly can. Does it really matter? Because if you do all the things that you need to do, eventually you'll get there. That's just inevitable. It's going to happen. But does it matter if you get there in 2 months or 2 years? In the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't. And all I can say to people that really fly really close to the sun really quickly is generally they've done it by just outselling other people. And I'm going to talk about that in a sec, how, you know, there's the Kobe Bryant methodology, but there's a lot of people out there that have just like shot to the moon. And trust me when I say their processes and their systems haven't caught up with that, because if you get to 100K a month in 2 months, trust me when I say your processes won't keep up with that. And if that's the case, they're at a very high risk of getting back to where their stasis point or their equilibrium point is in their agency. And I talk a bit about that in other videos. But I also think there's an element of really not understanding how this space works from a SMMA, understanding how this space works from a personal perspective. So what I mean by that? Well, in basketball, I'm going to use that analogy because everyone knows basketball. In basketball, you have some people that are just naturally gifted in the game. They just have God-given talent, right? And these people with God-given talent, you know, like let's say the Iversons of the world, let's say Michael Jordan, for instance, just have God-given talent, right? And that will get you a long way, and that will get you a burst into the sun. You know, look how many NBA players have been drafted, and their first year, second year, they've really shot to the moon. And then they haven't got the core skills behind them. They just are naturally gifted at the game and are really, really good. And then they plummet back to earth because they get worn down by the game. And then you have people like Kobe Bryant. Now, Kobe Bryant wasn't the best basketball player in the world. We all know that. But he was the most disciplined, and he did treat it. He just outworked everyone else. And he's a legend of the game because of it. Now, you do have some outliers like Michael Jordan, for instance, who also had the work ethic with the God-given talent. But if you're looking at other people in this space and they're doing so much better than you, generally it's because they've got a God-given talent in sales most of the time. They just have a natural knack for sales. Some people just have that. I have that. I am very good at selling SMMA. And that gave me a natural advantage because I didn't have to worry about the sales side. Sales just came naturally to me. I could focus on service delivery, got naturally better at that, and I'm where I am today. But some people don't have that natural talent for sales. Some people don't have that experience and background in sales. And of course, you're not going to be doing as well as someone that just comes into SMMA from another sales type role and just hits the ground running. So the worst thing you can do is compare yourself to other people in this space, is probably what I'm getting at. I've seen a lot of guys in this space really start to get demotivated and really lose their interest in the space by constantly comparing themselves to others as a reference point of where they should be, and really just burning out. They're just like, this guy, I can't outwork this guy. Like, he's gotten 100K in 2 months, so I'm only at 10. What am I doing wrong? I need to change things. They get desperate, and all of a sudden they're doing things that don't work. And I just want to reiterate that this isn't a race, right? If you are treating this as a career, which I hope you are, if you're treating this as a career that you're going to make a decent living from, and you're going to earn the money to be able to do what I'm doing today, which is working 2 or 3 hours a day, traveling around with my family around the world, you've got to remember that you have a lot of time to make that work. You know, yes, it would be handy, it would be helpful to get to 100K as quick as possible, because your life trajectory will change. But does it actually matter if you do or not, is what I'm getting at. Like, will not getting there fundamentally ruin your life? No. If you get to 100K a month in 3 years as opposed to 2 months, is that going to fundamentally change your life in the grand scheme of things? You know, you're going to be on this earth for almost 100 years, a lot of you guys. Is that going to really change your life? The difference between 2 months and 2 years? No. What will change your life is being the Kobe Bryant of this game and becoming a legend in the space, and building an agency that's super sustainable over a long period of time. And that's what I think is the goal. That's what people will pat you on the back for. People won't pat you on the back for getting to 100K for 2 months. They'll just be like, oh, I wish I could do that. But the true legends of this game are the guys that have been doing it now for 7, 8, 10. Some guys have been doing this for 15 years that have built a lot of respect in the industry, because it's so hard to do it over a long period of time. So maybe use that as your goalpost. Don't worry about getting to 100K a month. Worry about getting to a stasis point where you can pay your bills and live comfortably, live without worrying about the money, and then build on top of that to the point where you're making the money that you want to be when you see in your vision 5, 10, 15 years from now, because that's more important. Because trust me when I say that a lot of these guys that are making 100K a month in 2 months, or 50K a month in 5 months, whatever that, insert that time frame is, it's incredibly risky. And right now, the economy's good, it's probably working for them. If the economy turns tomorrow, let's see how many of them are still in business.